The show, found on the Powerhouse radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by Powerhouse Radio
Disease
Station.
or condition.
Listeners are urged
Opinions by various contributors.
to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you for being here today. This is the I Am Meta Show. I'm Zephyra, the Medicare daughter, and Malika, a breath of fresh air. Joining us today is Jessica, wise woman, right? And today's topic is all about self-love. You know, I Am Meta is health and wellness, spirit, mind, and body. So we have to cover it all, right? So thank you all for being here. Thank you to the Powerhouse Radio, Lady D. Much respect. Pick up yourself. And thank you, beautiful, beautiful goddesses, for being here today with me. All right. So today's topic is all about self-love. Sometimes we create emotions in ourselves where we don't see ourselves in a very positive way sometimes, and we're very critical. We may be very critical of ourselves and always maybe defining ourselves not in a way that is with light. You know, self-love is when we're developing ourselves and in a very positive way, a very love, worth, peace of mind, you know, kindness, just being kind to yourself, taking care of yourself. How often have we, and I'm sure a lot of us are guilty of this, especially if we're mothers, like, oh, I love my children more than I love myself. Oh, I love this more than I love myself. Or I love that more than I love, you know, and some people are very obsessed with other people. And they see that they love this other, they feel as if they love this other person more than themselves. And a lot of times we, excuse me, a lot of times we overlook when we speak these words because they have vibrations. All of our cells feel the vibrations. When we speak, when we think, it creates a vibration. If we think about a lot of happy things, happy chemicals start popping around. You get a nice hug, chemicals are popping. You know, it makes us feel good. So what do people do to feel good? If you have to resort to something to feel good, like somebody's gonna need they think they need a drink to feel good, or they think they have to smoke to feel good, or, you know, always resorting to other things, when you can't just find that love within yourself and see it within yourself and it illuminates from you, then we have to work on those areas where we're holding ourselves higher, not below standards, and always making sure to tend to self. I mean, I've been guilty of, you know, trying to get a pedicure done, and 3-4 months may have passed, and I'm like, "Who? My feet are balling." But I was so busy taking care of everything else and everybody else. I always push my needs back. Yeah, and then I'll get fed up one day and I just shut everything out and put my feet in that and give myself a little pedicure. But it shouldn't have to get to that point. You shouldn't be fed up before you actually react. It's all about self-love. Yes, so Malika, a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
Let us reason some more to our audience, our listeners and viewers. to help them to, connect some dots.
For sure. Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening, this afternoon, wherever you may be. Thank you for watching the replay. So, yes, self-love. This is very, very important. And many people do not realize that what they are calling self-love is not self-love. And because, as our Medicare daughter was saying, that a lot of people put other people first. They're like, well, I love myself, but my family comes first. And there may be number 5 or 10 or whatever on the list of love, of where they give love. And many people think that loving yourself first and foremost and being the most important person in your life is backwards. And that thinking is backwards. And we've been conditioned in this society and the world over, really, in most places, to consider ourselves last, and that being love. And what people are now having to discover, when we love ourselves, we are really actually looking to make ourselves be in the number one position in our hearts, in our minds, in our being, in our life. And then when we know we are well taken care of, we are well loved, we are nourished, we are fed, we are happy, we are taken care of, we are safe, then we can provide that same love to others. You cannot give to someone else what you yet are not giving to yourself. So self-love is very important, and it's very vital for people to learn what that is. And we have to learn what that is by our decisions and the outcomes of our decisions. So when we take, say, for instance, you wake up in the morning and you are doing your daily routine, and someone calls from your job, let's say someone calls from your job and someone called out sick and they really want you to come in. It's like urgent that you come in. You already have plans. Like maybe you have plans to your therapist, or maybe you have plans to take your child to the playground. Perhaps you have plans to go and get that pedicure you've been putting off. Most people these days will run into the job because they got to help the job. The job needs them. They feel needed. They feel necessary over there in the job. They feel like they got to save the day. They have to be there. Or even they're fearful that they're going to lose their job. But really, they're not. When you put yourself first, you will say, I understand that is very urgent situation going on at work. I am otherwise engaged today and I cannot help out today. And then you go on, you hang up the phone and you go on about your day. That is an example of self-love, where you put you first. You put what you got going on first. Somebody else's emergency is not necessarily yours, right? So it's something that we really have to learn, that what am I about to do? Let me analyze this mentally. Let me feel it emotionally, and then find out, what does my heart say about this information that I'm giving it? Is this for my highest and best good to make this decision? Or is this seemingly for somebody else's good? Now we can only know really, really, truly what is for our highest and greatest good. We can have an idea what would be the best path for someone else, but ultimately we are only the deciding factor for ourselves, us. And that is self-love, to know you, to put you first, and to honor others by being yourself and not overstepping into their boundaries of, I have to decide this for you, unless that is a child, unless that is a minor child that literally is not able to make those decisions yet and cannot have any input. So that's, a little bit about what I wanted to share.
Yeah. That's awesome. And thank you for that, because you said something about redefine. It's a definition. It's how we mold ourselves, and it all really begins on how we view ourselves, like mentally, especially how do we, and if we see ourselves in a negative way, then don't keep it there. Work on that. Work on clearing whatever energies, all that energy. Stop hurting yourself. Stop, getting involved with partnerships, relationships, and it could be work, it could be personal, not necessarily anything definite, but some things just needs a little cleansing.
Yes.
Like dirty laundry. You're not going to keep wearing it if you have an option to clean it. I mean, people might say, yeah, you might see homeless people with dirty clothes. We're not speaking about that. We're speaking about your butt. You can go in your house and go in your closet and pick, choose, and refuse. But we're speaking about the person who have that choice, but still, how comfortable can you be?
Yeah.
Look at people with body odors a lot of times, and it may even be a medical condition causing body odors. But anytime you have a body odor, something is going on inside. So we can just say that's science, right? But
Yes.
how, do something about it. Don't just, let it go unattended. You're like, if you're comfortable there, love yourself more so you can take care of yourself. You're going to want to take care of yourself. You're going to want to take care of yourself. I love being a grandmother, being able to play with my grandchildren, do cartwheels on the beach. Yes. I love that. You see Malika over there looking like she's 16. She has adult children. She has adult children there, but it's all about when we find that space, self-love.
Yeah.
Antonia Johnson, thank you for joining us. In your mind and your spirit, you will find yourself. You would love yourself. That's right. It's a cleansing. We have to really cleanse our mind of the negativity. And if people grow up all their lives and people are telling them, you're the ugly duckling, your hair this, and your skin is that, and they start to believe that.
Yeah.
You don't program them to think of themselves in that negative way. So we also have to be very careful of when we're dealing with others, especially children. Especially children. They're learning.
Especially.
You say something like that to an adult, like, oh, yeah, you're ugly. And they'll have a word or two for you or something else. Right? So you have to really, really always aim to heal whatever pain you're feeling. Sometimes it's longer for some people, and don't mix the message. I'm not saying if you're dealing with things you don't love yourself. I'm not saying you don't love yourself. I'm saying self-love is something that needs to be routine in our being. It's automatic. It shouldn't be something we pick up and put down. Yes. It should just be automatic. The way we breathe oxygen, the way we have to wink our eyes, the way, food go in one way, or even if you got tubes, it still has to go through a digestive process. So everything has to, go through a process. And if you're not feeling loved, then love yourself more.
Yes.
Hug yourself. Get in front of the mirror every AM. You get in front of the mirror to see, take all the boo boo out your eye. You know that move.
Yes. Yes.
Yourself in the mirror, tell yourself how much you love yourself and act accordingly.
Yes.
Don't go out here making decisions and getting yourself caught up in all kind of things that are, it's not developing you. It's taken away from you. It's taken away from you. And self-love is exactly that. You're not looking for it in other people or other things. That's just not how you're going to get it. Correct. You have to acknowledge it about yourself. Yes. That's what we have to do. We have to acknowledge that love within ourselves to keep our heart light. And when we have that self-love and know that about ourselves, anytime we ourselves do something that may not be the most positive, you can automatically feel it, because it's like you don't want to do this to anyone, because you don't want anyone to do this to you.
Correct.
So you're gonna feel, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that, because you probably felt it was hurtful if it was done to you. You would be more conscious of a lot of things. And you're also more discerning when it comes to your daily routines and how you're going to fit make sure you fit yourself in to your own schedule. And I would often say, I fit things into my life. I don't fit my life into things.
Yes.
So
That's an
if it
important
can't,
distinction.
yeah, and if it can't fit, I ain't forcing it. Jessica, wise woman. And I love it. I love it. That
Please,
wise woman
please.
vibration. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as you know, self-love is this topic.
Thank
All right. So share with us your views on self-love.
Yes. It's such an important topic. And again, thank you for having me on the show, Malika and Dr. Medicure. Doctor, I appreciate the invite to speak. This is a very important topic for me because, as I understand it, we talked earlier, the previous topic was about, sexual and emotional abuse. And as a survivor of physical and sexual abuse, it was such an important this has been such an important journey for me to embark upon. And what I've come to understand at the core of it is the diasporic experience that we've had as a people. What happened to us as a result of being not just in bondage and indentured servitude, but also being just dehumanized on all levels. Coming back from that, just where we've come from in this short amount of time it's miraculous, and it speaks so highly of the people that we are. But there's so much more to uncover about what happened to us. So I just recently had this conversation with someone about post-traumatic slave disorder and what that really looks like in behavior from person to person. And we want to tackle these sort of issues of emotional well-being and treating yourself with love. But there's a foundation, and that is we've been trained not to. We've been programmed not to. So there's a reprogramming that has to happen, and that's something that both of you alluded to with making choices. Something that I've learned in psychology is about behavioral and cognitive therapy. So choosing, sort of having a routine, so to speak, of things that you do that aim towards a specific goal, like self-love. So I have some sort of, I guess you can call them pillars that I practice. Definitely a work in progress, but right now I have 4, and I feel like as I continue journeying, because I'm still young, I'll get some more pillars that I have to add to the practice. But there's self-compassion, self-forgiveness, which is sort of the same thing, self-accountability, integrity, which is sort of, it falls right into really it falls into everything. Radical courage, and that's something that probably to me is at the basics. So when I think of courage and what has to happen for us to heal, we have to sort of turn around and look at what we left in our wake. So there's all of these things that we've done as we were moving unconsciously, moving in a place of just sort of self-destruction. And in order to start the engine moving in the opposite direction, we have to look back at where we're going, where we've been going this whole time. And that takes a level of courage that is just, a lot of us don't have these days because we're not programmed to have courage. We're programmed to just sort of stay out of the way, stay out of trouble. Don't rock the boat, but the boat needs to be rocked. Some people need to fall off of the boat. Maybe some luggage needs to fall off of the boat to make the ride lighter. So self-accountability, integrity, self-compassion. Self-compassion is sort of, for me, the one pillar that it's like grace. It's like self-grace. Like, I'm not going to beat myself up for not knowing. I know now, I can do better now. So when we're looking back, if we're looking back with self-compassion, it's a lot easier to sort of accept where we are. Just start from here. You don't have to start from, 10 years ago or two months ago, I was doing this. I'm not doing it now, so I can speak on these things. But it's like, just start from here. Start from here. Start loving yourself from wherever you are. If you are in the lowest you've ever been, start loving yourself right there, and start with little bitty small steps. So again, the biggest thing for me has been when I can't seem to even myself out. Self-compassion has been my sort of tool to get me from one place to the other to a higher vibration. And then we talk about like the physical, like making sure you shower every day. But until you can mentally clear the space, you don't care about a shower. I don't care if I smell to you. I don't care about myself. Why do I care what you think really for me? I don't care about myself. I'm gonna save face and tell you, okay, I'll take a shower. But what I'm gonna do is just hide from you until until I just, I don't have to deal with the energy of you or whatever. But you're still there. I'm still there, funky. And really, I'm funky on the inside. But another thing, I do want to add a pillar already. I'm sorry. Discipline. What I found on this journey, I just became a mother of twins. Well, not just, they're 2 years old now. But there was a level of chaos that I'm sure every mother knows about when you got any kind of baby, maybe 1, 2, 3. But what I learned was the moments where I was the most unloving to myself were the moments where I had no discipline, where I would not just fight through the tiredness, fight through the emotional, whatever I was feeling. And I would just sit and just let it be. And then stuff would pile up and I would feel like it's too much to handle now. Yeah. So self-discipline is just simply saying, I would go in the bathroom and it would be like stuff all over the counter. And I would say, I'm just going to take 3 things. I'm just going to take 3 things off the counter right now. And then when I come back in the bathroom, I take 3 more things. And the next day, the counter is kind of clean. I can see it again. But these sort of small acts of self-discipline, they've gotten me into a space of knowing I'm capable of changing my life because I can visibly see how I've changed my life. So I think that's a sort of behavioral therapy that can happen. But the cognitive part is really like you guys have said, hitting so many points about just like making sure you're doing some things for yourself, affirmations every day, looking at yourself. Maybe if you can't even say I love you, just staring at yourself. Just look at yourself. Don't turn away.
Yes. Yeah. Excuse me. Wise Woman will join us back as soon as our technical difficulties are being sorted out there. So we're going to go ahead and proceed. But Malika, she mentioned some things about those pillars. And I think it's a great approach for some people. It's Definitely. A great approach. If they needed some ideas, well, she just gave you several. She just gave you several. So, yes. And I'm sure I didn't miss the message. We didn't miss the message. And I'm sure some of you didn't miss the message. See, it's a reconnect. But I just know that those pillars that she discussed play a big part in resolving things that we're feeling inside or things that we've experienced and how we look at it. We just have to redefine how we're, giving it definition.
Yes.
We're the ones who give it definition.
Definitely. I totally agree. And those pillars that she listed off, that she is taking care to implement her life are crucial to changing our mindset from one of loving everyone, in the number one spot and on before ourselves and putting us in the number one spot. It's very vital for us to have a sense of direction, how to love ourselves. What are things we can do physically? What are ways that we can reprogram our mind? What are ways we can clear out and cleanse our emotions and things to re-educate ourselves on what actually is appropriate for us? What is our baseline? What is our essence? What is our individual normal? And getting back to that. So I like those pillars that she's adopted. Is great because that can help a person who doesn't have any sense of boundaries or direction when it comes to self-love, having those guidelines or any type of guidelines that will direct a person towards loving themselves can give them some reassurance, something to look back on and say, okay, these are my pillars. So let me look at them. How did I do today? Or how did I do this week? What are things, they can use that in conjunction with their journal, yoga, food journals, and things like that. So it's very vital for us to have some sense of a template to not necessarily follow like step by step, but like a guideposts. And I think that the Wise Woman's her pillars are very instrumental in that, and definitely whatever someone can utilize, whether that's a mental change, so affirmations every day, or whether that's dancing to cleanse and clear out emotional space so that they can fill it up with joy, whether that's yoga or whether that's exercise, whether that's looking in the mirror. That is a very vital thing. Something that you two touched on. Looking in the mirror,
Yep.
and speaking to yourself. Just don't even say anything yet.
Yep.
Don't even say anything yet. Just looking at yourself dead eye
Yep.
in the mirror every day. Pick a time every day, and that's the time that you're going to meet yourself every day. You don't even have to say nothing. Just look in your eyes, and you looking back at you. You looking back at you is going to set so many things in order. Like because it's deeper. It's deeper. Like your soul, your highest self is going to be like, oh yeah, I got her now. I got him now. Let's put this on. So when you do that, it's like some people definitely can't say anything. They don't want to look at themselves. They don't look at their body. Okay, that's fine. Just look at your eyeballs. Just look at your eyes. Most people don't have any complaints about their actual eyes to say, oh, my eyes are ugly. They might want a different eye color change, but just stare into your own pupils for 2 minutes every day. And you'll find that you want to increase the time. And then one day you might go in the video and say hi.
Yes.
You just might say hi one day, and that's it. And progressively, you will start to do more and more in that mirror. And next thing you know, you might be dancing buck wild naked in front of the mirror, just helping you.
We all know that's
yeah, it's a journey, and it's a journey of love with yourself. And so,
yes,
and it's an important one for all of us.
Yes, and thank you for that, Malika. A breath of fresh air, a breath of fresh air. She is too. I'm telling you. And we're going to get back to Wise Woman in a moment. I just want to take a moment and big up the Powerhouse Radio. Big up the stations, just to let you know there are other shows that are on. Well, of course, I Am Meta, Health and Wellness, Spirit, Mind, and Body are Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard and 3 p.m. Pacific time. All right. So for those of you in the West Coast, and also I'm going to read it off this list here. We have Lady D on Thursdays, Reason Thursdays with Mama Acid. It gets real deep. I think we went over the time last week because we had so much to talk about, right? But they come on at 8 p.m. I know they were on for more than 2 hours last week, but it was nice. It was a hot topic too, right? But they have Let's Gripe. They're also, Let's Gripe is on Wednesdays, and that time is 7 to 9 p.m. Wednesday nights. Kids Way is back, and they're on, I don't really see a time here, but they're back on. And I know we're going to make sure if you just hit that subscribe button and the notification button, anything coming on the Powerhouse Radio, you'll be notified. And the Kids Way is really good. Get your children involved and let them see these young, when I say young minds, because some people we have old ancestral energies and stuff. So I just want to say that in the process of our development, when you hear things from children and how much development they've had at a certain age, you will then kind of have a little feeling of the village they're from, or who they're amongst, their discipline, behavior, everything, the way they're speaking about it, entrepreneurship, business owners, and you're discussing it, you're 8 and 10, and 13. So I think they have a very interesting show for children, especially, and some of you adults can learn something too. like they say, out of the mouth of babes and suckling, right? All right. And they're on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Thursday evening, and that's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I believe I'm not sure. I think Bishop Blair is on Sundays. But anyway, you just check the show then, man, because there's a lot to talk about. And if you want to gripe about something, yeah, tune in on Wednesday with Let's Gripe. and let us know what you're griping about. But I Am Meta, give us a link, give us a like, give us a share, right? Give us a comment or two even. Also, I want to say, I Am Meta Health and Wellness. If you send an email to the Powerhouse Radio, that's DA Powerhouse Radio at gmail.com. If you send it there, let us know if you want to discuss a health topic or hear about something specific. We do have some things on the list like mental health and different things like that. And it's just not always a physical ailment. It's mental, it's spiritual. We're speaking about self-love today. You see? So just if there's a topic that's in that arena, health and wellness, dearies, we will go ahead and if you would like to be a guest to even tune in and tap in on the discussion, let us know. All right. So give us a like and big way up and send us your responses on how we're doing. And if we're providing you with some information that is helpful to you or someone else. All right. So, and this person, what is that? Antonio. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Antonio. And make sure you join me again next week, Sunday, too. And thank you for, visiting and being one of our viewers today. And for those of you who are just listening and can't see us or whatever, thank you for being there. The entire audience, all the arenas. If Facebook is seeing there today, whatever, big up yourself, everybody, right? Thank you for being here. Now we're going to get back with Jessica, wise woman, because she was getting it real deep. And I was like, yeah. So we're going to get back on track with this guy. This one here, nice. Yeah. We're listening, my dear. Mic check.
I got
all right.
My bad.
Yeah. So you made some valid points. You broke down them pillars and what you've adopted to, regain that self-love. That's some deep stuff. And I know it's going to help a lot of people if they hear what you're saying, and they can probably implement some of these things. But yeah, we would like for you to say some more, dear.
Oh, all right. Well, let's do this. Really, I think when it comes to self-love, it's best to keep it simple, because there are so many areas to uncover. So when you unfold one area, it's like levels to it. You finish, you're now where you don't allow people to come into your space who are disrespecting you, but you're still attracting disrespectful people. So then it's like, what now do I have to, what am I now having to uncover? So I started to look at this a little differently recently, which sort of I want to say really catapulted me into a different level of self-love, a deeper level of self-love. And that is this mirroring thing. So when I'm looking at people speak to me, I'm looking at myself speak to myself. I'm hearing what I'm saying to myself about me through other people. And how I know I'm speaking to myself is I'm triggered. So I'm like, oh, that makes me so angry. And it feels valid, and there's self-righteousness in there. And those are some of the cues that you are practicing. Let's just call it like it is, self-hate. When you have this idea that you need to separate yourself from someone else in order to be right. So, I feel very strongly like whatever it is that we are, whatever our source is, wherever we come from as beings, it's always offering us opportunities to see ourselves as we are. And we can look at it as a burden. I've come into this world with all this sin and this pain, or we can look at it as a journey of self-discovery. And so, you're on a journey, it's an adventure, and you're going around a corner, you don't know what's going to be there. You're like, whoa. But it excites you. And that excitement is, I found is like, that's the life force energy. Like,
it's a drive. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like if you know the areas, when we talk about courage, you need it when it's time to try something that moves you, because you can feel like the recoil inside. And so it's like, no, take the leap anyways. And sometimes that's as simple as having a conversation that makes you feel triggered. Like, take the leap and then learn to sit in the pain. And that's really with the experience that I've had with uncovering what the lessons were in being abused and being molested. There was a lot of sitting still that had to happen. And I wanted to move. I wanted to have a whole bunch of conversations. So I did. But after the conversations were over, I still had to sit with the pain, right? So this sitting, it can look like meditation, but sometimes it's as simple as just, like you said, Malika, just staring in the mirror for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes. And you're going to be like, there's so much there. There's so much there. There's no boredom when you start this journey. Some people feel like, oh, I got to go deep into my feelings and explore stuff. But I discovered that my anger is not really that bad. I can just direct it a different way. But until I could sit with the pain of what the anger had created, I was just creating more pain, more anger. So there's a process of, there's sisterhood, there's brotherhood, there's community, there's tribe. We all have to be a part of this process for one another. So this right here, this platform is just like the bomb. It's the bomb. Like this is where it's at. This is where we come to heal, to hear. Because somebody might hear this on YouTube 5 years from now and be like, man, those women, those sisters were talking about something big, and it could change their life. So it's like,
yes,
this is the work. This is the work. What we're doing right now is the work, and each one teach one, and then I'm learning so much just sitting here interacting with you sisters. Just that in itself, like another opportunity to see myself, another opportunity to explore myself. And I think that changing your perspective, a friend just recently told me that these things that we go through, like whether we come out of them or not, sink or swim, is about perspective. Right. So switching it from I'm such a sinful being and I'm going to be wrong my whole life, to the uncovery of the beautiful being you actually are. What you actually are, not who you actually are, but what you actually are, you know? And so there's so much power in it. You know, these things are decisive. These things are like this. And I'm going to stop talking after this. But these things that we experience in our society, we have to understand that they're not an accident. These things were set up because I get more money if you don't like yourself. You know, I get you scrolling on your app more if you don't like yourself, because you're looking at all the stuff you wish you could have. You know, unless you have like a purposeful Instagram page where it's like built to promote health and wellness in your mind and body. But a lot of times it's just stuff just keep you like, I'll never reach it. You got to just tune out. That's the first thing I would say to anybody who's just feeling like they cannot find a way to just sit with themselves. Just stop the other stuff. Just stop the physical stuff that's happening around you. And you'll start to hear yourself. Maybe just cut out IG and then cut out Facebook the next week or whatever. But there are like practical things we could do that don't require us to sit still if we aren't there yet. You know, small steps, self-discipline. Take out 3 things at a time instead of trying to do it all at once. Yeah.
Repeat those pillars again in order that you did. Maybe someone is got their pen and paper waiting for that.
So I don't have actual order.
You said discipline. You said
so radical courage, discipline, integrity, radical courage, self-compassion, and self-accountability.
Yes. Interesting.
And self-accountability is the one that says, oh, we got to overlap. I'm sorry. My Wi-Fi is not super awesome today. I apologize.
You're fine. We can hear you clear. Okay. So, yeah. And I hope you all wrote it down. She said radical courage, discipline, integrity, self-compassion, and self-accountability.
Yes.
Account-
That's a big one.
It's a big one.
That's a big one because a lot of people would rather point finger at somebody else and do blaming and shaming, and it's counterproductive. When we recognize our part in our life, which is the biggest part, we have the biggest part in our life, but when we recognize that we have outsourced part of our power or outsourced part of our responsibility, then we have to recognize that, and then we have to take it back and say, you know what?
Right.
I'm no longer going to give this person this kind of control over my life. I'm no longer going to give this entity control over my life. I'm not going to languish and just act helpless. I'm going to make the deciding factors that are going to position me to be the one in control of my life, because I am ultimately. Whether we decide or we think we're not deciding, if we think we're deciding not to do something, we're deciding.
Yes.
So we always are making decisions, and that's where our power is.
Yes. Man, that's so deep. I'm telling you, this is real deep right here. And excuse me, y'all. I had some incense burning in there, and it kind of smoked up the room, and I didn't have any doors open, so it kind of
trying to smoke yourself out.
Well, I had it right behind me. This, and it's coming in through the bottom of the door there. And I closed the door before the show started, but it's still getting, it's what is in it. It's kind of it's getting in my throat. But let's say this: Wise Woman had mentioned something, and it was, there's a law of reflection. Malika, you mentioned about the mirroring and all that. It's a law of reflection that when you sit there being critical of others, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Sometimes, and not to say someone can't say, well, this is what I see, but I'm talking about just being critical. Someone comes in, nice and greased, but you got to say, I wonder where she buy them shoes from. It look cheap. Why would you? Who gives a crap what a woman got on your foot? Why is it bothering you?
Why is it bothering you?
Because a lot of times people see how people love other people. So they're going to find something to say that's negative because they can't handle seeing other people receiving love and attention. So I would suggest, if you're anything like that, man, woman, or child, introspection is your first stop. Get on the bus and get off at the stop with say introspection. Yes, because you have to look inside of yourself why you want to be critical of others, especially if there's nothing to be critical about. Little fool thing, but you got to find something about somebody that who cares? When you critical of others, it's because you lack it in your life. And we're talking about being critical. We're not talking about assessing a situation and it's in honesty and truth. We're talking about you looking for stuff about somebody else, especially when people love them. And you're going to try to find something about them that's may not be loving because you feel that way. It's because of what you're feeling. You feel that lack of love in your life. And you don't like to see other people receive it. Check yourself. Love yourself more. You ain't going to be worrying about anybody else in those little ways. If anybody's doing anything, I can care less. If it's not hurting, endangering anyone, hurting anyone or themselves, that's fine. If somebody just loved to wear stilettos, I used to live in this. I remember when a townhome I used to live in. They had this neighbor, and she used to take a trash out, but she would have on lingerie, and the robe would be one of them sheer like robes, and you can see what's under there. It's like a lingerie, and she'll come out with stilettos and high heels and going through all her trash. That's your little dog, it's a little small furry dog, but it's loud. And I can see that. And what I would say to myself is, you see what part of the community where my townhome was located. To me, I wouldn't be walking around like that for to like really attract the wrong attention. You can wear what you want to wear, but I know there are people out here, and especially for the past couple of weeks, we've been speaking about rape culture. You have to be very careful when you live somewhere, especially if you live alone. Women, of course, you know, most of the time are more vulnerable. A lot of times you can't fight big, like stronger people or more skilled people. I ain't gonna say big or small because them things don't even bother me if it comes to that, right? So I had to kind of like stop halfway when I was trying to say, but no, but someone might overpower you. So we have to learn how to also keep safe.
Yes.
We, you know, they have parties, have lingerie parties. Find some if you want to wear your lingeries out. You can. Even on stations, you can see there's a lot of lingerie parties and stuff. If you like stuff like that, go to a lingerie party. That's all they're wearing. But if you at home and people know where you live and all this and that and the other, they friends, neighbors, friends coming over and see all that. Next thing you know, and it wasn't even a gated community. You got to protect yourself. We have to be safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to be safe. So sometimes I would say, you know, I'm wondering what she's thinking, because you got to be safe. You can wear what you want. I'm just saying, protect yourself.
Yes, protect yourself.
You know, don't let your guards down. Don't be out there where others might find, you know, a little vulnerability there, a little opening, kick down your door and all kind of home invasion, all kind of foolishness going on. Serial rapists out here. They look for people who they feel are easy targets.
Yes.
So we have to care for ourselves more. We have to make sure we are keeping ourselves safe in the house and outside of the house. I said that the other day. The person said, well, when we're home, we're supposed to be safe. I said, look, anything can happen. Anything can happen. It happens all the time. People get into people's home. So you have to already have your mind made up. You know, that you're going to protect yourself.
Definitely. Yeah. That you are protected.
Yeah.
Protect.
And anyway, in summer, we would done see you coming a week before and waiting for your backside. Yeah, we would see you coming.
Yes.
We would see you coming. The ancestral power strong. We would see you coming.
It's real.
As soon as you met your parents, your head gone off your shoulder. Yeah, you come fit. You know? So you have to be careful, and we have to be careful of being critical to others, because, you know, at that point, we're also being critical to ourselves.
Yes.
We're given our hurt definition. We're giving it substance.
Yes.
When we do things like that, we give it substance. So some valid points were touched on. You know, you have some pillars, I call them now, right? Some pillars that Wise share. Malika shared a lot of, you know, especially self-identity, a lot of information on how we need to really look at ourselves.
Yes.
But if you're sitting around all critical of people, you better check that there. It means that something's going on. And there are people who are so critical to themselves and they're totally introverted. You won't even know that something's going on. It's not that they're going to be critical to others, but they don't say anything. It may be the things they may do. You know, maybe call, let's say that person may go to a store or something. Let's say the cashier was trying to explain something, but she thought it was rude. And maybe let's say the cashier was not really rude, but because she didn't get her way, she must call and make a complaint to corporate or something. You know, those type of things, like things that you're not really seeing. They're always looking to maybe get somebody lose their job, or it's, you know, they do other things. Anytime you got all that critical stuff going on inside, you're going to be critical of others. Introspection at the first stop on the bus.
Yeah.
When you hear the bus driver say, next stop is intersection, start walking to the door and come off right there, son. Because
Right
until
there.
we get to a point of introspection, we wouldn't even be able to tear back the layers deep enough. Like we heard before, when these
Yes.
two goddesses were speaking. Everything has layers of stuff.
Yes.
And the more you keep piling up stuff, you're gonna have more layers to peel back. Because when you think you get true to something, then next thing you know, they got a hole. You gotta peel that one back, and then you're gonna discover so many more things.
Right.
But every time you're uncovering things, and that's the word I need to use, uncover, not discover, because we don't know, but it's uncover. As you uncover these things, you cannot sit there and be critical to yourself about it. You have to you have to, in order to move forward, you have to accept.
Yes.
You have to accept that this occurred in my life. You know, some people been together for 40 years. Maybe that's the, probably the first person in somebody's life, and, been together. And if that relationship somehow dissolves, that person now is going to feel, they actually walk away. Some people walk away feeling empty because their whole life was built around someone else. Their whole life was built around someone else. And then they have all these resentments and regrets. And as all that stuff piles up.
Yeah.
And when it's unresolved, it will manifest sometimes into health matters. And that's spirit, mind, and body.
Right.
Spirit, mind, and body. I am going to say again, subscribe to the Powerhouse Radio so you can come check with on Sundays, 6 p.m. That's the I Am Meta Show, Health and Wellness, Spirit, Mind, and Body. And we are here at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. It's a 1-hour show. All right. And of course, we have Let's Gripe on the Wednesday. We have Kids Way on the Thursday. And after Kids Way, we have Reasoning Thursdays with Mama Acid and Lady D. So you done big up yourself there. A lot of times I is jumping on them topics here. Right? So, and then of course, Lady D's do a nice dub, but you're going to have to go to powerhouseradio.com. You're going to hear her play music from 12 to 4 on Saturdays. And that's Eastern Standard Time. So enough time you're doing something, housework or wherever you want to hear some nice tunes, tune in, right? So you can listen, you can, still keep moving around. It's not like you have to sit and look, because it's not going to come on YouTube. So it's more, you can listen to through the site. All right. So give us a subscription, give us a share, give us a like. Let us know how we're doing. Send us an email, ask questions. If you want to, talk about something, if we have covered something already, and you have some information to add, we can put it all in the hat and see what day we're going to do that on and invite you on so you can speak on whatever you would like to speak on. All right. Have you on as a guest. Just make sure it's valid, man. Health and wellness. All right. I don't want anybody coming up here speaking about politics and all them kind of thing there. We're trying to move away from the, we're providing what I feel we need.
Yes.
We need information and we need to share it.
Yes.
It's going to help someone.
Definitely.
It's definitely going to help someone. All right. So let's get, we have a few more minutes there, about another 6 minutes or so. So Malika, let's, a breath of fresh air. Give us a 2-minute.
Okay.
Before we close out.
Okay, so when it comes to self-love, I would like to share something with you when it comes to our children. So when it comes to our children, their sense of self and image is highly, highly important. And I know culturally in the diaspora, it comes in various forms, but it is acceptable to put down children, to give them little nicknames about their parents that are not uplifting. And to otherwise cut their security in themselves if they seem to be too proud or they seem to be too confident or conceited, then they need to be cut down. I want that practice to stop. I would like us to empower our children. When we see that they are in love, fully in love with themselves, we ought to continue to nurture that, continue to grow that. And when we see that there is something they may pick on about their own selves, because children are their own individual beings, they have eyes and nose and everything that they can hear and see themselves, right? So we want to uplift them in those areas.
Yes.
Mainly, we want to encourage them to self-love, okay? And that means allowing them autonomy, okay? I know in the diaspora, it's culturally comparable in every place, almost every place, that we don't give our children autonomy at young ages. Even sometimes they're adults and it's like, you're still my child. Like, yes, I'm your child and I respect you, but I'm my own person now. Like, it's okay to give our young children autonomy. That's how they learn to love themselves. It's how they learn to depend and trust themselves. Trusting themselves is highly important when it comes to self-love. So I just want to say to all my beautiful brown-skinned people out there, whatever shade you may be, whatever land mass you are on, uplift your children, embolden them in their sense of self-love. Even if your sense of self-love is not as strong as theirs, don't dim their light.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
That's so great. Okay, wise woman over there, let us hear a 2-minute from you. You want to drop a 2 minute?
Man, that was so powerful, Malika. That was just.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Oh no, my internet went out again. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Malika, that was just beautiful. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, give thanks. That just sort of full circle, because, and again, having children really highlights those areas that we're triggered in, and it shows. It's something that generationally is what really got me started looking at this whole idea of what self-love is in the diaspora, because self-love is just we equate it to being able to survive. I do what I have to do to survive. So it's all about shifting our perspective from it means to thrive. No longer surviving. We're not in that state anymore, and it's time for us to move again. Put the engine in the opposite direction now, towards thriving, towards living. So these platforms are so critical, and I can't say it enough. Just, being able, even for the woman who maybe comes outside with the stilettos on, being able to have a community that doesn't judge her, but that is there to recognize her greatness in herself, to pull out her divine essence. That's so important in a tribe. And it's something that we were, even when we look at the community, we have to have compassion about the way the community deals with itself because of where we've come from. And that compassion isn't weakness. It allows us to put boundaries down, first of all, and it allows us to have the integrity, I guess you could say, to go and say, hey, I see you, because I see myself. I'm working on myself, so I see you. And being able to hold each other's hand through that. So again, thank you for this community opportunity to share with the community. Just keep it up. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. My work is all about healing through the heart. And that is whatever we say, whatever we do, whatever we allow it to come into our bodies. I'm a biochemist, so I focus on all of the chemical levels of how we think and how it, what we're putting in our body, really, those sugars and those flours, they're fogging our brains up. So there's so many levels to this that we have to really kind of connect. We have to connect these levels. So thank you for the opportunity to come and share my philosophies.
And we would love to invite you back again. I'll send you the calendar. When I distribute the calendar, you'll see, and you let us know when you would like to join.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Because we really full joy having you here today. And we're getting ready to wrap this up, people. And my word to you is think love, speak love, feel love within yourself. Feel yourself loving yourself. Self-love is imperative for our development, for whatever is, essence that we have that we transfer to other. Let it be of love, dearies. Let it be of love. I thank you so much for being here today. All right. Let self-love be the task for the week, dearies. Thank you.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Yes, yes. Yes.